If you've heard how I've been structuring my sentences, I think, and it looks like. It is true that even in Greece we have very little information forthcoming. So this is something that needs more research in a sense. There are still people that are alive, but I don't think they've told their story yet. So there's no formal biography, let's say, for Constantinidis. Right, now, he belongs to Greek national school, as we say. So this is nationalistic music, not politically so, but rather the character is that he takes folklore music and dresses it elegantly with harmonies that actually can be ascribed to French school turn of the century. I'm going to be a little reticent about calling it impressionistic. It is not so, but his take on more modernist writing, which you will find in his etudes, is really the take of Debussy on atonality. Excuse me, right, there is a Gaelic poise, and there is really a, I would call it respect for the Greek traditional songs. Now, these 44 miniatures, and they are indeed miniatures, they come in 3 volumes, which sounds very impressive, but here are the 3 volumes. And we have 2 editions, yes? In the Greek edition, there is no mention of timing. The American one insists that each one is about 10 to 12 minutes. I find this a little hard to believe.
Who insists that?
Yeah, well, it does at the beginning. So you open up volume 1, and there's one mention at the very first page, and it says duration 10 minutes. I have no problem with that, but at the same time, I think he's been influenced by popular music writing, and because he was writing also for cinema and blah blah. So I'm thinking probably he was just addressing himself as if you're having a recording or a CD or some kind of project where you want an absolute timing, no breathing. This is not performance time. This is if you play through once, finished. So it's just a quick reading through, and you know your absolute time. But you know, if you start taking breaths in between, it has to amount to more than that. Actually, it has, because I've played it in concert. So let's see the 3rd volume, and I promise I will play it. Duration 12 minutes. So I actually think I played it 20 minutes, and I thought it was, you know, quite fast. So one has to breathe, as I was saying. All right. Now, what I'm going to try to do is, I'm going to go over there, and in contrast to my previous 2 colleagues, I'll try the inside piano, so we'll see now if you can listen to me, especially the people at the back. And I'll basically play through, not everything, and I'll make a few comments about things that you would find. And I have to say that in one source, it's an article that appeared, I think it's 2002, didn't make a note of that, MTNA magazine, so that would be Music Teachers National Association in the US. There was an article, and he said that the purpose of this work, written about 1950, is for conservatory students to play. Now, I would say not all 3 volumes are the same. There is a sense of progression, but not as tight as in the Microcosmos. So the Microcosmos is very professional, let's say. Indeed, the first volume is very easy, and then you progress and you can see the progression. Here, the first one is easier. The second one, I find it complicated anyway. The 3rd one stands very well for performance. So I think it's a work that has many functions. It's not purely pedagogical, and it's not something that is prohibited or inaccessible to students. And I find this very, very interesting because the pieces are as long as maybe a page or less, The very long ones are 2 pages long, but with fast tempi as well. Not all of them again. And you find the lyrical pieces, and the notes are easy, the rhythms are not. The balance of the harmonies are not. But I'm thinking, if you have a student and you want them to be introduced later on, let's say to WC, and you know how difficult that is with balancing and the sound, you want them first to have something like this, which is short, which they can destroy, is not expensive, they can learn it fast, and they have much to learn in a very short version, let's say. I think this is a good work that has been neglected both in performance and as a pedagogical tool. Now, I'm going to go over to the piano and see what we can go through. Yes? Here. Right, so can you hear me from where I stand?
Yes.
Yes, okay, I'm in the yes. All right. I'm going to start with volume 1, and I'm going straight to number 3. Number 3 is 3 lines. 3 lines. The time signature is 6/8. And you will see that it starts on a G minor / Mixolydian, and it's really exhibiting a Greek Asian, if you like, emphasis on the upper half of a harmonic minor. So that'll be. But not necessarily resolving. So at this moment. It's delightful little gems that, of course, cannot compete with some of the more energetic, if you like, pieces that are more extended. But the value and the difficulty in this music is the balancing in the voices. And I'm going to go on, and I have to say, I have 2 masters. One is in performance, the other one is in musicology. And musicology is not something that I have studied. So I'm approaching this like you would, with exceptions, of course, of people that have expertise on it, as a pianist trained in the Western classical tradition that is faced with something that is not even adhering to the modes as we know them, because the influences are coming also from major and minor, and the Greeks are not exactly always using the modes as we know them, and we were taught in the Western canon. If you open up a textbook, you know about the V's, the Dorian, the Aeolian. There's a lot of Aeolian, by the way, used, but there's a lot of chromatic